Hey, what's going on, everybody? It is CG Reviews, and you know what? I wanted to do a video. If you guys tried to watch M&C this morning, there was a little bit of problem. Mooch actually had a power outage in his area, and so wasn't able to actually go out and do the show or anything like that. But hopefully, I think that it's something that it's going to be fixed at some point today, and so obviously we'll have to be back next week or whatever. But at the same time, I wanted to do a little video because this was something I actually wanted to talk about and didn't really get a chance to because obviously the show was cut short with what was going on. But this is actually kind of a big deal, and I know a lot of people are going to try to make it out to not be a big deal. Hey, what's up, everybody? Please hit the like button, share it out. I would appreciate it as you guys join and stuff like that. And again, just do what you can to support the channel. I have a good time doing this stuff, and so it does mean a lot when you guys can send support my way and stuff like that. So yeah, sorry I'm a little bit late. I was really gonna wait for my team was playing, so the Ravens were playing, and so I wanted to kind of do a video after I knew they were going to win, and so they were literally about to win, and so I wanted to kind of do this. Although anything can happen, it would be just my luck for them not to win. But as you join in, hit the like button. I see Ned Flanders, everybody else. I appreciate it. Holo Moko, what's up? Respawn, what's up? I see Sonic. Please hit the like button, share it out. I really do appreciate it. So Halo Infinite's lead producer left 343 Industries, according to a report. So if you guys remember, a couple of months ago, Tim Longo, who was the lead producer for Halo Infinite, left and was replaced by someone named Mary Olson, who took over for Tim Longo, and apparently she has now left too. And again, a lot of people will go, well, that's not a big deal, that's just a Tuesday or whatever. I don't know, it's just one of those things that a lot of people sort of kind of take for granted, I think, when it comes to these types of things. This game is a year away from release, and they've lost a lot of people. Usually you're tightening things up within that year of release, and I just feel like what they're doing is maybe it's going to be a game that isn't going to be able to deliver what they really needed to deliver. And so I do think that that's going to be something that could really significantly impact the franchise as a whole. And why I say that is simply put, it's one of those situations where people are really counting on Halo kind of delivering. I know Microsoft is. So there are kind of rumors, and I'm going to state this real quick. This is a rumor that the game is going to be delayed, so hence the question mark in the title. But we do know that another person has left 343 Industries, and that's never a good thing when this kind of happens. Yes, there's other people there. Yes, I'll get called fearmonger and all this kind of other stuff, and that's fine. I understand that that's the way that people operate and stuff like that. T-Rock says power is on in Florida. Oh, exactly. Right now there is. Share out the video, like it, all that kind of good stuff. I really do appreciate it. Yeah, so again, this is just one of those things where it's just a little odd to me, okay? I'm not really much of a person that believes in coincidences, and so when you see two people with the same job leave within 2 months of each other, the replacement obviously replacing the previous one, and then not even lasting 2 months, I think that really goes to show that there could be a potential problem there. Does that necessarily mean 100% that there is a problem? No, I mean, it could be anything, but I would say a year and some change left before the game comes out. There's no way that the single player is done yet. We haven't seen a single scrap of footage, so obviously the last year would be when they do any kind of crunch, if they were gonna crunch. And from my taste in particular, I'm not sure exactly what to expect, because Halo 4's campaign I really enjoyed. Halo 5's campaign I didn't like. You know what I mean? And obviously the multiplayer in 4 wasn't as good, but the multiplayer in 5 was good. They need to put those two things together. Apparently they have this huge budget, and that's supposed to really help them somehow, I don't know, like budget doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be a good game, because Halo 5 is a good first-person shooter. It's just not a good Halo game in my opinion, and I think that that's where people need to kind of realize that those two things are a little bit different, and hopefully they can actually do something a little bit different. What's up? Let me see. 9Live says Halo will be fine. They still got Bonnie Ross. Dude, I'm not sold on Bonnie Ross to begin with, right? Bonnie Ross is sort of... I never really had much faith in her to lead that studio. She doesn't seem... Okay, when you look at Dan Greenewalt and like at Turn 10, that guy's got passion for racing and that kind of stuff, right? When you look at... when you look at the Coalition, okay, I don't think that the Coalition are like a huge, I think that they're very passionate as well. You know what I mean? They do a really, really good job with what they're doing, and I think Rod Ferguson is clearly a very passionate person about the Gears of War franchise. But again, I don't really see Bonnie Ross as that passionate, in my personal opinion. So realistically, that's, I think, comes a little bit of different circumstances. What's up, Rich? I appreciate you coming in here. Please like and share out. No, why would this be about Fortnite? I can't imagine doing a stream about Fortnite. Hey, more power to the people that enjoy that. But again, it's just one of those things. So again, a lot of people are like, oh, well, you shouldn't worry, blah, blah, blah. Naughty Dog lost people with Uncharted. And I'll point this out once again. Naughty Dog is way better a developer than 343 Industries, right? 343 Industries are a cover band of Bungie, okay? They haven't been able to put it all together the way that they should, and this might be one of their last chances. So if you are just joining me, if you guys remember a couple months ago, Tim Longo, who was the lead producer for Halo Infinite, left, replaced by someone named Mary Olson, who has now also left. So there's a lot of turnover there, and this is something that is kind of shocking to see so much turnover at this studio. Again, you would think that something's up. Now, I wouldn't really expect... I wouldn't really expect Microsoft to comment and go, oh, well, everything's great. But I will point out that the last time an Xbox game had a 5-year development cycle with all these kind of issues and stuff like that was Crackdown 3. Now, I'm not saying that this game is going to be as bad as Crackdown 3, but if you're not improving on your Metascore and the overall, trying to bring in people back to Halo, then what's the point? So there are rumors right now that this game might even be delayed into the following year, which I think makes sense. Look, don't launch a broken Halo game. That would be absolutely bad. Rich says, with this news, do you think Halo Infinite is going to get delayed? I 100% think Halo Infinite is going to get delayed out of the launch of Xbox Scarlet. And I think that it'll probably be the following year when it comes out. You cannot have... you cannot have a situation where your launch game, your biggest franchise, gets completely, passed under or whatever like that. So let me think. Mizzle says, I feel like Frank O'Connell is a big Halo fan, but I don't know. Game has not been the same without Bungie. Frank isn't in charge, though, so I think that's a little bit of a different. You know what I mean? Yeah, Eddie T says, Bonnie Ross seems very cold in interviews. Again, nothing personal against her. But, it's just one of those things. 9Live says Crackdown 3 was a Don Matrick game. Here's the thing. Was it, though? Because that's a Phil Spencer franchise. Phil Spencer absolutely loves, that brand and that franchise. So with that being said, he loves it. And then he was the one that was playing it, saying it was good and playing like a... and it was playing like a Crackdown game, and then what did we get? We got kind of this game that wasn't really that great, in my opinion. Again, some people might have had fun with it, but I just didn't feel like it was a good Crackdown game or as good as one. Again, this is a situation where, some of these games, and I'll say this, and I'm a huge Gears of War fan, or I was, or whatever, but there comes a point where some of those controls, like the old tank controls for Gears of War, got a little bit old, and I think in a situation with Halo or Crackdown, the mechanics just are old. You know what I mean? You have to do something to get people to come to your game in this day and age, right? Like when you go back and play some of these older games, obviously there's a bit of an issue with some of them because they control kind of bad and stuff like that. So I think it's very pertinent to sort of have an updated control scheme, and I think that that's something that that these games desperately needs. So anyway, that's sort of my opinion on that. Hold on. Jason Jones says, What has Bungie done since they left crap? Destiny, good gameplay. Story, not so much, but 343 is a cover band, right? Don Matrick is the reason Bungie left, but praise Don Matrick. I'm not praising Don Matrick. I don't particularly like Donnie D either. I think he had he was kind of more of a person to really say, hey, you know what I mean? This is the way it's going to be. But I'm not saying that like he's anything better or worse or anything like that. So I think Bungie is. What has Bungie done? Well, they worked on what the second best-selling first-person shooter of this generation. I don't particularly like Destiny, but apparently it's like crack to a lot of people. So I'm not going to knock it. You know, and I think it's fine for what it is. But again, I just feel like that franchise hasn't really recovered since Bungie left. Like Bungie was Halo, and now it's just one of those situations where it's it's not really the same as it used to be. So that's just, I mean, again, that's just my opinion. If you like it, I think you're entitled to like it. Like I said, the multiplayer for 5 was good. I'm just more of a single player person, so anybody can see why I was slightly upset with what was going on. Hold on. JD says, real question, if you are not fearmonger, then tell me why so much focus on negative news, no focus on negative Sony news. Well, listen, if there's something negative about Sony, I would talk about it. We talked about the Sean Layden thing and him leaving. We talked about, some of that stuff. So I'm not really sure exactly what you're saying. I can't really think of a bunch of negative Sony news right now. I talked about the layoffs in a podcast. So it's not like we don't talk about this stuff or I don't talk about this stuff. I think you're just maybe upset that I'm bringing more attention to something where Xbox has already had a lot of negative attention. And, hey, apologies for that. But I got to say, it is a little bit odd that there's so much trouble going on at 343 a year out from launch of this game and a new console as well. Again, I want to point out that I was told that Microsoft Studios had these big budgets now and things were going to be different and everybody was going to be happy and, and all this kind of stuff. And, again, I didn't buy into that with Gears of War, right? Because I was like, okay, they had a little bit of extra time to develop on this game, right? Now, what's the end product? The end product ended up not even being that much better than the last one, even though I think it was better. Mr. Twister says, I'm worried for Xbox. It's a crucial they deliver at the start of the gen. I agree 100%. Ice Queen says, hi, crap, I'm playing Destiny 2 right now. A lot of people playing Destiny. Mooch, everybody I know plays Destiny. I'm the only one that doesn't. So they've actually done a really good game. JD says, by the way, I agree with you on the broken Halo game. If Halo Infinite is complete or ready to go, for the love of all God, delay it until you get it right. 100%. A delayed game has a chance at being really, really good, while a bad game doesn't. Like they can't afford another Master Chief incident or another Halo Infinite incident. So they've got to keep it good. They've got to get this stuff really, really good. Lansville Paul says, crap, funny how people worried about Sony's infighting when they should worry about Xbox Studios created leaving. Yeah, I mean, listen, there's usually going to be bad stuff on all sides. I think that Halo I'm a little bit worried about Halo because I don't believe that Microsoft has anything ready to go in its spot. And what I mean by that is they have this situation where they're kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place, right? Like with Game Pass, I don't think they were planning on doing a whole bunch of launch games for the Scarlet. I think they were going to rely on Halo, and then sometime early in the year, they were going to have another Forza, right? So I think now this probably puts a little bit more pressure on them. We don't know what Sony's going to bring to the table, but Sony, they could bring just about anything to the table if they wanted to. Also, Sony won't be afraid to show off their exclusive games. And what I mean by that is at their announcement or whatever, they'll probably show off stuff like Horizon Zero Dawn 2, or at least a couple of these things to get people super excited about what's coming down the line. for PlayStation 5. Microsoft, I think, is going to have a little bit more problems at that. You know what I mean? So I think that, it's just one of those things that I just find to be a little bit interesting, and I hope that it works out well for them. And I don't want to see the game do bad, but I do want to see that I do want to see them actually maybe comment on this or try to do something to sort of get it right or whatever. But if it's going to be bad, delay it. Don't take any chances with it. Hey, we're over 200 watching. Please hit the like button. I would appreciate it. Share it out. Like I said, liking it and sharing it and stuff like that really helps content creators, so I would really appreciate it. JD Gamer says, what if Microsoft brings a team of Bungie developers into 343 to help them finish and polish the game in the final year to give the direction that it needs? Well, the problem is they've already, we're already well over a year into it, so with only a year left, so they obviously have to have a portion of the game finished. And hopefully they know the direction or knew the direction ahead of time. I think they can do a good job, but this is just a little bit weird to me that this is going to happen. So Pony Slayer says, according to Ols's profile, she never took over the role of lead producer on Halo Infinite. If possible, she wasn't in that role for a long time. Internal discussions found someone to take the lead. I hope that they found somebody to take a lead. JD says Sony has a habit of showing games way too early, like 4 or 5 more years out. Listen, I used to agree with that, right? I don't think that showing a game 5 years out is great, but at the same time, I also think that it's just one of those situations where you have to show your fans something. Microsoft hasn't shown fans anything in such a long time. I just feel like they really, really have to. And for me personally, if they don't show a bunch of stuff, it's even less of a reason to buy their console, because I already have like next to no faith in what they're doing. So I really would like to see them do that. You know what I mean? I'm not saying you have to show everything, right? But I'm just saying show something. Let people know that you have games coming. And I realize that people will say, well, they got new studios. What do you think? You think they have these new studios for nothing? No, new studios do build games. I get that. But at the same time, show me the money a little bit, okay? It's been so long. We haven't had a new AAA IP announced since 2015. And I just feel like, we definitely deserve something new and something to really kind of show our interest. So, according to this article, Microsoft will be releasing obviously Project Scarlet next holiday. Direct competition with the PlayStation 5, and Halo Infinite was going to be a launch title. The pressure is on to deliver a really good experience. There have been some concerns over Halo Infinite's development. Creative director Tom Longo leaving this past August. It's not the strangest thing, according to this article, for team members to depart when a game is finished, but more than a year before launch, it's a little bit odd. Microsoft later released a statement to Kotaku stating that roles and responsibilities of various team members regularly evolve to meet the needs of a game throughout development. Mary Olsen, an executive producer at the time, was announced to be leading Halo Infinite's campaign team as the lead producer. However, according to Reset Era Today, a member pointed out that Olsen had recently left 343, and according to her page, as of October 2019, she now works at Midwinter Entertainment as head of production. This is the same studio where Josh Holmes, who, as you guys know, was the former 343 Studios head for Halo 5, is working on production and design. An official statement on Olsen's departure has yet to be made, so that's something like that's why this is a bit of a report. So she was at Microsoft 343 Industries for 7 years, 3 months. So yeah, she left in September of 2019, and now she's at Midwinter Entertainment as of October 2019. So yeah, that pretty much says everything you kind of really need to know. Mr. Twister says, I'm not an imbecile. Show me games 3 years from now, no problem. Only in gaming industry, people pretend that they don't want to know until time is right. Makes no sense to me. This was always something that I always had a problem with as well. I just want to see something at this particular point. You got to have something, something there to really show that you know what you're talking about and you know what you can do. I really want to see what they can bring. Right, I know Phil Spencer, and I've read an article recently where he said something along the lines of, or this was maybe last year or a year and a half, 2 years ago, and he said something along the lines of, I know people say, well, if you show me something, it'll give me faith in the brand, and he doesn't really believe in that or whatever. So, we've got to really, kind of take that into consideration, that this is the head of Xbox saying he doesn't really care if we have faith in the brand. And I feel like that's very unfortunate because, as gamers, we all really should have be able to have faith in the brand that we like. And I just feel like they've really kind of dropped the ball with giving people a reason to be excited. And I don't think Xbox is doing bad. I just really think that, Xbox is doing a poor job of keeping their fans excited about the future and stuff like that. So I really would like to see them actually go out there and make some announcements. Now, I know, like, people are going, oh, well, they have this or that. And I know when I say, well, I'm not really looking forward to a Bleeding Edge or Rare's next multiplayer only game, right? Like, I just feel like, I just feel like that's unfortunate. Okay, like, I want something new in the AAA realm, and I feel like we're still probably years away from that. So hopefully we can get something announced sooner rather than later. I know we're going to get a Fable. Obviously, Fable is something that's being worked on. Is that something that we're going to get, in 2022? I don't really know. It wouldn't shock me if that was the case, because it does seem like the game might be a little bit further away than a lot of us really kind of anticipated. So hopefully it's something that we can get worked out. And I hate to say, I would really love to see them actually say, hey, here's the next Fable. Here's a sneak peek at what the initiative is working on, right? Do you guys remember back to 2013, right? When you go back to 2013 and you see Don Matrick at that E3, okay? I'm not saying it was a really good E3. Okay, people compare the E3 to, to the reveal or whatever, and those are two totally different things. So, in my opinion, it's just one of those things where you have to really kind of show off. Now, listen, they showed off that Shang Heist game from that team that ended up being the Coalition or whatever. So, again, people got really excited by that. You can still find the you can still find people like talking about that. Oh, we would have really loved to get that or whatever. So yeah, that to me is something that just shows you that they really have to have something to show off to get people excited about the game. And I hope that they can do that sooner rather than later. Again, just my personal opinion. I just feel like that's something that they could absolutely pull off if they actually wanted to. And I hope that they can do that. Hey, yo, Naito says, hey, yo, crap, I'm going to still buy an Xbox no matter what. Hey, dude, you're more entitled. I would never, ever tell anybody not to pick up an Xbox or not to do something or get something that they want. I'm not saying, I'm not saying that, hey, it's bad or anything like that. It's just one of those things where, for me personally, I've had some issues and my own personal thoughts about what Microsoft is doing. So I absolutely do hope that they get things together, because you need that you need that competition. You absolutely need that competition, and you need people to sort of be there to be that for Sony. You need them to really kind of show off or whatever, and I think that they can do that. Listen, I was talking about this the other day. The Xbox One X is such a really good console and so far ahead of its time, almost like the Dreamcast, in my opinion. Like, the Dreamcast was so far ahead of its time, and now we see that the Xbox One X is kind of like that. It's like it's capable of doing some kind of ray tracing. It's doing 4K. It can do 60 frames on some games. It's got a 4K Blu-ray player. It's got like Dolby Vision sound. It's doing all this really cool stuff. Okay, but the problem is, Sony's the market leader, and so developers are really sort of taking taking what they're doing and kind of dismissing it. Like, we aren't really getting those full types of things that we're used to, and that's completely unfortunate. I really do hope that next generation, with these consoles being so similar, and they will be similar, don't let anybody kid you, that we're going to finally get advantage taken of the consoles, because it doesn't make sense to have a console that's so much more powerful than the competition, because it's rarely going to get taken advantage of. Even the even the first party stuff. Like, what if first party stuff that Microsoft did that really took advantage of it? It's like, you could say a Forza game and maybe this new Gears, but again, that's few and far between. We don't get these exclusives very often. So I really hope that people kind of recognize that, and developers recognize that going into next generation or whatever. Hey, over 200 watching. Please hit the like button, share it out, I would appreciate it. Maybe we can get to 100 likes. I know I'm not expecting a huge turnout today, just because of the time it is in football and all the stuff that's going on. Mr. Twister says, none of that matters, crap. It's about the image and games, and Microsoft damaged it. I agree 100%. I don't know how damaged Microsoft or the Xbox brand is, but for me personally, they've really kind of worked it over or whatever to the point where, I'm not really having a lot of fun like I used to with the brand. It's like they killed some of that fun for me personally, and I know I'm not the only one, and I know some of it's just on me as well. Like, this generation started off so well. I know that Microsoft was the underdog, but coming from the Xbox 360, I was like, hey, this is great. They got this console. It might not be as powerful as the PS4, but it's still a really cool console, and they got some really cool games that I'm interested in, Titanfall and Sunset Overdrive and all these really cool games. And then when you see this type of thing happen, it really kind of just leaves you for a loop. And I think there came a point where I started to notice that all this stuff was happening, right? Like, oh man, they haven't really started creating a new IP in so many years. They haven't really announced anything in so many years. They keep on hyping up this stuff like console reveal exclusive or whatever. And to me, those just aren't doing it. They aren't cutting it. And I just kind of wish that we would get, a better situation out of these companies. You know what I mean? Like, we deserve a little bit better. We deserve more game announcements, and we deserve just a lot in general from these companies. And I just felt like we kind of got screwed around or whatever. So I really do think that they can fix that next generation, and hopefully Microsoft actually pays attention to what gamers want, because I feel like that's something that they've really kind of been lackluster with. And I just really think that that's something that they could actually do. Sorry about that in the chat. I really do. Brian Wright says Xbox was never the underdog, crap. Well, listen, I did it. I banned the guy. Listen, as far as I'm concerned, anyway, you have to take it as like a grain of salt or whatever. Microsoft, realistically, that company, they let a lot of people down. For a company that's worth as much as they are, I just feel like they've let a lot of people down. So I'm hoping that they can rectify that situation, but I'm just not sure that they really want to be into the console space as much as we really want that. What's up, Cake Batter? Appreciate you coming out. Jason Jones says, crap, with next gen having back compat, if you can trade in your Xbox X and PS4 Pro for one, then buy the other one, would you do that? Because I think I'm going to. Well, I mean, it depends. You know what I mean? I'm going to get a PS5 day one. I think it depends on the Scarlet. Like, they're going to have to show me something absolutely incredible for me to be able to want to get that. I mean, they're going to have really great games announced and exclusives and all that kind of stuff, like right away. Okay, they really have to do that. They have to, impress the hell out of me to get me on board for that. So if they can do that, then I'll be happy to buy one. If they can't, then I guess there's no hope. And I hope that there was always hope. You know what I mean? I just hope so that they can actually listen. So the Red Ring fiasco, which cost Microsoft over $1 billion, combined with the Kinect, ruined Xbox. The Red Ring caused investors to get upset with Microsoft gaming division. Well, they spent so much on it too, so you got to think about that as well. Brian Wright says, how can a multi-billion-dollar company be the underdog? Well, I think it's quite easy how they were actually the underdog. So if you think about this, Microsoft was the underdog because they coming to the gaming space at a time when, like, an American company wasn't in the gaming space, right? And they were coming in there and they were fighting against, Sony and Nintendo, and I just feel like they've been the underdog a lot, like, obviously, even though they're Microsoft, they still have this situation where they're still looked at as an outsider or whatever. And so I felt like they had a real shot at doing something special, and turns out that they kind of did something special with the original Xbox. I thought was super hardcore and a really good console. And then when it comes to the Xbox 360, I thought that was a really great console, probably my favorite, and my favorite generation. So yeah, they managed to do a lot of interesting things in gaming. They're very inventive, and I just feel like they still don't get the amount of the amount of hype and likes for the things that they brought to the table in terms of gaming and stuff like that. So hopefully people, like, I recognize what they do. I don't hate Xbox, man. I want Xbox to do great. I want Xbox to do amazing things. I just want them to be a little bit more forthright with the games and stuff like that coming up. It's a $1 trillion company. Fun Creator says, Crap, do you think Sony will reveal PS5 at PSX in December or February 2020, just like PS4 was revealed in February 2013? There is no PSX this year, Fun Creator. They've already confirmed that they're going to reveal it next year. So, yeah, I think that's what we're going to see. Next year is going to be when we see that. My Xbox One X is great. With Halo coming to it, I don't see a point to upgrade day one, buying a PS5 first. Quick Killings, I agree 100%. That's exactly my thoughts on it as well. So there's not really a point to it. If you guys would be so kind as to hit the like button and share it out, I would appreciate it. Always fun to come out and do these kind of things, even on the fly or whatever. It's just, just always fun to kind of hang out and talk with you guys and have a good time. So make sure you guys hit the like button and share it out. Again, it is rumored that they might delay Halo Infinite. I haven't heard anything from it, but again, they did lose another person. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how that kind of works out or whatever. But again, I just find it a little bit odd that this is the case yet again, and hopefully they can kind of get things worked out. What I thought was interesting today was, while everybody's still going on and on about the differences between the differences between, like, oh, Sony's going to do what Microsoft does and do, services. They're going to, PlayStation Now, day and date. Again, this was something that I thought never made much sense. So we heard some official numbers today for PlayStation 4 and PlayStation games, and it was like The Last of Us has sold 20 million units between PS3 and PS4. Uncharted 4 has sold 16 million units. Like, these games are selling like crazy, and to think that Sony would give that up would absolutely be insane. Like, they're definitely gonna keep things going and keep trying to sell games. I'm not saying that they won't do services or anything like that, but I just think that they're doing things that are sort of setting themselves up to get people to double dip. So why not get the person willing to spend $60 and pre-order The Last of Us 2 or what have you, and then a year later get people, the budget-minded gamer, to, you know what I mean, to sort of talk about that. So I think that it really works that way, and I think that, like what EA does with EA Access on Xbox and PlayStation, right? You can get Madden when it comes out in August and pay $60 for it, or you can wait till February the following year when it's going to be an EA Access Vault, right? So they make you wait for that, and so people will buy it that are going to be wanting to play it, because who wants to play it at the end of the football season, right? Like, most people want to play during the football season, so there's like incentive to buy it. And I feel like Microsoft really kind of shot themselves in the foot by doing it the way they do with the day and date stuff, right? Like, if they would have been able to say 6 months later, 8 months later, it's in there, I would have bought Gears. Like, well, I got a review code, but I would buy Halo, okay? I might still stay subscribed to Game Pass or whatever, but I would definitely still buy their game. So I think people got to kind of take that for what it is. Let's see. JD Gamer says, some people getting hyped about recent PS5 news, like the controller and targeted downloads. Do PlayStation fans not know those things are already on Xbox One X? Listen, some people don't know that, JD, and here's the thing. That's fine. Like, again, the haptic controllers and the feedback and all that stuff, I think that's really cool, but not a lot of developers took advantage of that. You have to kind of keep that in mind as well, okay? So a lot of developers didn't take advantage of that. The racing games did, but again, like I said, these consoles are going to be so close in terms of what they're doing next generation that's what's going to be great about it, okay? So a lot of people don't understand that the Xbox Scarlet and the PS5 are going to be so close. They're using their own solutions for, like, the hard drive. That might be a little bit different. I think the PlayStation 5 might actually have the quicker hard drive and the quicker load times and stuff like that. So, we have to see how that works out, though, like which one's going to do and who's going to have the best content. I feel like the content is the thing that most people care about. And so with that being said, definitely it really comes down and it puts, Xbox in a little bit of a worse situation. So, you know, they have the most to prove. If they can prove themselves, then I feel like they'll be all right. If they can't, you know, then I think they'll still be all right, because obviously, excuse me, guys, I had a rough night. But obviously, they did okay this generation. If they sold 46 million Xbox Ones with no games and all that stuff that happened at the beginning of the generation, then, I mean, I guess it just goes to show you that people will just buy an Xbox because it's an Xbox. I don't know, but we'll have to see next generation. I feel like they do need something there at launch to be a hook, so hopefully they can do that. Hit the like button, you guys. We got almost 250 people watching, which is pretty good, and I would appreciate it if you guys could hit the like button. Wish EA Origins was on console instead of Access. I hear that's a little bit different or whatever, but I'm not really sure. Jay Slayer says Halo has to drop with Scarlet. Microsoft will do anything they need to get it out on time. Well, listen, will they though? I mean, if the game's not ready, you could absolutely have a situation where the game was broken. You can't do that to Halo again. That's the problem, right? I understand you got to get it ready to go, but at the same time, you cannot launch with a broken game, right? Like, you absolutely have to have that game be ready to go, and it has to be good. You know, it can't be like what we're used to seeing lately, okay? It's got to be a really good game, a game that brings Halo back for everybody. You know, gives you that nostalgia feel, but also that futuristic feel as well. And I think that that's something that hopefully they can do sooner rather than later. I would love to see you know, something along those lines from Microsoft. We need to see that great Halo game. Halo was such a fun franchise for so long, and the fact that it's not what it used to be really kind of is upsetting. You know, like, I hope that they can fix it and get things going. Strap Force K says social media is Microsoft's worst enemy. PlayStation Nation can control narratives now. That's true too. PlayStation's really good at it. JD says actually what the current reveal specs have stated is that the Scarlet solid state drive is about 40 times faster, and the PlayStation 5 is about 20 times faster. Well, listen, we've actually seen a demonstration, JD, of the PlayStation 5 hard drive, and it loads up Spider-Man in like an instant. So we actually have something to compare that to. We have absolutely zero. I mean, I'm not a backseat developer, but we've seen with our own eyes the Sony thing. We haven't seen anything with the Xbox thing. So I'm not going to take somebody's word for it. I believe it when I see it with my own eyes. Mr. Twister says, JD, take that L. Hold on. TD Bank says, people definitely buy an Xbox just because it's an Xbox like any other brand name, though. Once they lose those people, too, though, yikes. Well, listen, I feel like... you know, that's just one of those things where people sort of take things for granted. So hopefully we can continue to see Microsoft be inventive and do the right thing with this. You know, I do feel like you know, they're in this weird spot with Halo where people want this game to be great. They want it to launch with this new console. What happens if it doesn't, though? Right? Like, if this game doesn't launch with the new console, there could definitely be a situation where they have zero launch exclusives, right? They might push something into that. Maybe Bleeding Edge will get a release on it. I don't know. Maybe Battletoads in 8K. I'm not really sure. But I just get the feeling that those aren't going to be great reasons to buy an Xbox. And Microsoft needs to give people a great reason to buy an Xbox, especially given the fact that they've had so few exclusives and stuff like that this generation. So, you know, I hope that they can get things fixed. I hope that they can get things running smooth and better. And it's just one of those things where they definitely have the potential to do those things. It's just going to depend on the execution, and hopefully they can actually get out there and do that. Ned Flanders said... solid state drives on PC have been doing that for years. Microsoft will be fine. Well, listen, Ned, these are their own proprietary, right? So that means that their own solutions, and a little bit different than the PC route. So we'll have to see. I mean, solid state drives, these are supposedly like custom solid state drives. So a regular solid state drive was in, I think they had a solid state drive in an Xbox One Elite. You guys remember that? It was the original Xbox One console, but it was also called an Elite, meaning that it had a solid state drive, but it didn't eliminate load times. Like, supposedly these new things are going to eliminate load times. Cake Batter says launch titles are overrated. PlayStation has never had a great launch lineup. Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see how that happens. I don't really know what remains to be seen, but it does get people excited. I bought an Xbox One based on the launch lineup, so I wouldn't say that I wouldn't say that it's a given that they're all going to be bad. You still need something to attract people. I feel like next gen's a hard sell, so without games, it's an impossible sell. Snake says, "What's up, crap? What happened to the show?" We were doing MNC this morning, and Mooch's power went out, so that really happened. Let me see. Solid state. Okay, hold on. I'm got Crapgamer. Mr. Twister says, "I think Microsoft will buy some timed exclusive if Halo gets delayed, like Tomb Raider. If they have something, they would have to have something. They would have to have something to show off what they're going to do. And hey, we're getting closer to that 250 mark. If you guys could hit the like button, I would love 100 likes. That would be awesome, and I would definitely appreciate it. Yeah, you know what? Like, listen, I think that if Microsoft is smart, they could actually do something with Halo to try to to attract people. But you have to have that stuff well in advance, is what I'm saying. Like, for them, like, games take time. And you have to have something in advance to be able to show people. And I feel like maybe they can do that. Hopefully they can. I don't know. But will Phil Spencer, does he believe in keeping content off of other people's platforms? I'm not really sure. So hopefully that's something that they can do. I would love to see them do that, get something that maybe we haven't seen before. And maybe that's something that they've been missing, right? Like, if they can go out there and be competitive, I think that that's something that a lot of people wouldn't expect. But, again, they're going to have to do that if they want people to be on board with Xbox Next Generation. Let's see. Fun Creator says, timed exclusives won't work against Alan Wake 2, Bloodborne 2, Horizon 2, God of War 5. Well, I don't know. We'll have to see how that works out, so I guess we'll have to see. Game trailers. Hey, man. Hey, game trailers. While you're there, tell me, bro. How's my how's my Death Stranding looking, bro? Am I getting my Death Stranding soon? Am I getting my code for that soon? Because you owe me. Game trailer says, "What is PS4's launch title? Halo has not got delayed, buddy. The game is almost finished." Listen, if the game was almost finished, they'd be launching it, because it's going to be playing on the Xbox One as well. I understand that they're going to put it as a launch title, but there's no reason, if it was almost finished, not to release it next year, before that point, or now, and give people something to play. So, hopefully we can see something come out there of there. But if you guys did tune into MNC this morning, Mooch had a power outage. It kind of sucked. We lost the show or whatever. I'm not sure if it's even going to be up there, but next week we should be back and start doing the show again. I'm hoping that everything kind of works out well. It'll be interesting to see how it does work out. But anyway, there's the rumor that Halo could get delayed. I hope so. Anyway, excuse me. I was like texting someone, but hopefully that can actually work out. And again, I'm very excited by the potential for next generation by both Microsoft and Sony. Hey, at least there is a little bit of good news. My team won. The Browns lost. That's pretty good, right? Like, everybody. Hey, speaking real quick, the Browns were the most overrated team heading into this generation. Sorry if you guys are Browns fans, but everybody was hyping them up, and that Bumfield guy already has like a bajillion interceptions on the year, and he's sitting at 2-4. So yeah, he's he's got 10 interceptions on the year, 4 touchdowns. So yeah, the guy is not good as people thought. He surprised some people last year, but happy to see the Browns be the Browns and my Ravens do their thing and kind of continue to show off and win some games. Hit the like button. Very close to 100 likes. I would appreciate it. Hold on. What did you say? Game trailers. When am I getting my game, bro? Crap. Tell me, how will Microsoft advertise Scarlet against Xbox One X? One runs 4K 30 and the other 4K 60. That's easy. Listen, Microsoft doesn't advertise Xbox One X. Boom. They just don't. Okay, like that. When was the last time? I can't remember the last time I saw an advertisement for the Xbox One X. They ran those all that power ad for like the first couple months of that game console released, and then not a word from it after that. So yeah, I don't particularly think they are gonna. They don't advertise the Xbox One X. They just don't do it, you know. And hopefully they can do something, some kind of advertising for the Scarlet, unless it's too expensive. I think Scarlet's going to be, you know, between $500 and $600. The thing that makes me wonder about the prices of these things, okay, if you think about it, the Xbox One X right now, the Gears one, is $500, and a year from now they're releasing a new console, supposedly with new tech and a Ryzen CPU that's going to do all this stuff, 8K compatible and all this kind of crap, right? How the heck are they going to get that, both Sony and Microsoft, out the door for $499? Okay? I have to wonder. I have serious doubts. Now, if they offer these things at $599, that's a huge price. Like, I do not understand who is going to be interested in buying that. Even the hardest of hardcore, man. That's a lot of money. $600? That's a good amount of money. And again, it just could come back to bite them in the butt. I hope it doesn't, but I really do think that it's something that could happen, and we'll have to see how it works out. Again, we don't know for sure yet, but holy cow, these things are going to be at least $500, and I say that lightly, right? Like, these things are at least going to be $500, and anybody that doesn't think so, man, you guys got to get your heads examined, because definitely going to be something that we see. These prices are just rising and rising. And not only that, but what if there's some tariffs or something along those lines, right? Like, nobody's even really talking about that, but we could see that situation arise where we're paying so much money for these consoles due to the fact that, you know, there's these extra things. I think it's an extra $50 or something would be on top of it. So if in fact those do take place, then we would see if these consoles were $500, then all of a sudden they would be $550 plus tax. If they were $600, they're $650 plus tax. Like, that could really hamper things. Not only that, but already in a place like Canada, they pay more money as it is for these things. So yeah, like, this is definitely something that people have to keep in mind as well. You know, going into next generation, we have to understand that these things are going to be top of the line, and that's why I think we might see a little bit of an issue with early adoption with some of these consoles. You know what I mean? Like, unless you have some really crazy games coming out the door, I'm not sure that they're going to do that well. Again, if you're a PS4 owner or a PS4 Pro owner, they're going to really need to have to sell you on that, because they have some amazing games coming out within the next year by themselves. You know, you got The Last of Us 2, Death Stranding, you've got Ghost of Tsushima. They've confirmed that that's still on tap for the PS4. So you've got some big AAA games, including 2 AAA new IP, which is something that Microsoft, I don't believe Microsoft could do a new AAA IP if their life depended on it, right? Like, we sit there and we wait and wait and wait, and we go, man, sure would be good to see something in that kind of space, right? That AAA new IP space, and they just don't ever deliver it. You know, like, I hope that they can, and then when they do, it's something that ends up being underwhelming. So I really do hope that they can get something going and get something to get people excited, because right now there's like such a low level excitement, and there's such a low if I had to, what is the word, morale, right? The morale for Xbox is just so low right now. I don't understand how they can do what they can do to sort of get people back excited about this, but hopefully they do before not too long, and I think that they have the talent to do that. But if you're Microsoft, you're a $1 trillion company, why not take a loss on the Xbox Scarlet, right? Why not take a loss and let people buy it at a cheaper price and actually try to do something to win for a change? Is Shenmue 3 exclusive PS4, says Holomoko. Well, it's on PC as well, or the Epic Store, but console exclusive, yes. Squeamish says, Subcrap, should you be watching football right now? The Ravens already won. The Browns lost. What more is there for me to watch, to be honest with you? I'm happy with the way things are kind of transgressing with that. Hold on, I'm going to answer some more questions. JD says, you never answered my question about the studio. JD, can you... Okay, hold on. Both Sony and Microsoft have kept the prices of the mid-cycle refreshes artificially high. They could be selling them based on the tech for $200 less. Maybe, I don't know. Swift Arsonist said it would take a miracle for Microsoft to come out of this situation they are at. They need to fix their image. I agree 100%. And again, I'm very close to getting 100 likes on here. If you guys that are just joining me, please hit the like button. JD, please ask your question again about the studios. I missed it and I can't find it. I was on a different page or something. Swift Arsonist says Death Stranding, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Ghost of Tsushima, Last of Us 2. I don't think Microsoft has any answer to that. Don't be so sure, Swift Arsonist, because never discount Battletoads, right? Battletoads! Dude, I'm not a Browns fan. I'm a Ravens fan. I was making fun of the Browns because they suck, and I hate them. But, yeah, I understand what you're saying, man. There's just a lot of people that I absolutely cannot stand the Browns. Ugh, just terrible, terrible team. But yeah, so I think that, like I said, there can be a point where Microsoft can come back, but they're going to have to really invest and try to get people, excited by the content. And is that something that they can do? I'm not really sure. Maybe, maybe. I personally don't trust Phil Spencer, but some people might, and I'm not one of those people. Maybe they do, but again, at the end of the day, it's not on me to do that. So hopefully people kind of understand that. And again, if you don't have that killer launch lineup or that killer launch title, that could really hamper you. You know what I mean? Like, I do feel like that's something where they would be at a huge disadvantage. Like, they promised Halo. If they can't, let me just say this: they keep promising stuff and then not delivering. They promised Halo at launch. If they don't launch it with Halo, is that how you really want to go into next generation, right? Go into next generation with a lie, okay? Because we get lied to all the time by these companies. So you go into next generation with a promise of a Halo game at launch, and then it gets delayed. I'm all for delaying it, by the way, if it needs it, okay? But is it really the smartest thing ever to do a launch and promise it and then have it not be there? See, that's the thing that I'm saying. Like, you definitely need something to take its place, or you need something to really showpiece what the new console can do. And I feel like that's something that Microsoft has completely failed at with the X. And if they have to delay Halo Infinite, they would completely fail at it with the Scarlet as well, because again, you don't even need it for the Scarlet. But the fact of the matter is, you don't even need a Scarlet to play that game. But also, what a way to start off a new generation, right? Just like the old. Disappointments, delays. But again, every time I see Xbox Studios on social media, they're posting them having a party and, drinking, having a good time. Like, you never see them posting about work or anything like that. It's always just, hey, we're doing a barbecue. We're doing a cook-off. It's an Xbox Game Studios cook-off. We're having so much fun, right? Like, that's the thing that I'm saying. Like, it really kind of like gets you down or whatever when you see that. Like, I'm not saying you have to crunch a million hours all the time, but it would be nice if they actually went out there and tried to actually show something to get people excited for a change. You know what I mean? Just in my opinion. So hopefully they can do something like that along the way, and that would be nice. 12 away from 100 likes. I would appreciate it. People thinking it's Phil's fault when Nadella is forcing all the changes. Listen, the real White Ski, or real White Sky, that might be your name. Phil was the one that had the idea to play games anywhere, everywhere, or whatever. He's really more of a PC gamer, so you have to keep that in mind as well. Like, Phil Spencer, he talks a good game, but at the end of the day, if he had his way, he would definitely have PlayStation, or have his games on PlayStation. Like, you can see the interviews that he does, and he talks about it, and he's very cagey with it because he knows he's trying to sell his consoles right now, and Sony doesn't want their games on PlayStation anyway. But it's like, it's clear to see that, he definitely wants his games everywhere, and that includes PlayStation. So, it's clear that, they put some games on the Nintendo Switch as well, and that's been more than clear. And they really have to go out of their way to sort of just kind of prove themselves or whatever to a lot of fans and stuff like that. So let's see. TD Bank says it's not Phil's fault. He's just a puppet. But if he doesn't want to blame, then he needs to go the way of Donnie D, Trenton, Reggie, Layton. Bye-bye. Jay Slayer says, crap, maybe Xbox will have a new Fable for launch. It's a possibility. Here's the thing. Fable, this is the thing. You don't have to be an insider to be intelligent and look at things and see the way things are going. So, Playground Games made Forza Horizon 3 and 4. They have another studio that they moved into in April. They want to staff up that studio that's working on the RPG to 200 people, but as of right now, it has like 60 people. So I seriously doubt if Fable is going to be a launch title. Now, they might announce Fable at E3 next year, but I have my serious doubts as to whether that's going to be considered a launch, when that's going to come out. Like, is it going to come out, what time is that going to come out? What's the time? Is it 2021? Is it 2022? Is it 2023? Like, that's, I think, the point where most people want to know. Because I'm of the belief that we're going to be seeing, we're not going to be seeing these games until 2023 or somewhere in there. I'd be really surprised if we got anything new in the AAA space before then. I think they're really, I feel like they really kind of dropped the ball with that game creation stuff. So maybe it's something that they can work on down the line or whatever. But at the same time, this is just one of those things that Microsoft is going to have to account for going into next generation. You have to have stuff ready and there for people to sort of play and to enjoy. Like, you can't just launch with nothing. You have to have stuff to play. And I feel like, maybe this is where they've been dropping the ball an incredibly long time. So maybe they can get it together. I don't know. I don't have a ton of faith. 3 likes away from 100. Please get me there, guys. Let's get there. Gamers don't care about Fable. I don't know. I care about Fable. Fable will probably be launch window. I don't think... Here's the thing. Because of Game Pass, okay, you guys, Game Pass is as such a thing where they really have to... They can't have a bunch of launch games at one time, okay? They've got to have games spread out through the year because you need a game for a quarter 1, a quarter 2, a quarter 3, a quarter 4, right? This is exactly what Game Pass is for. So because of Game Pass, you realistically have to have your games like divvied up. Even if you had 4 games, let's say they're planning on launching 4 games next year, okay, or within the launch year of the Xbox Scarlet, you still have to have games for that entire year to release the Game Pass as well. So Game Pass, while everybody's like, oh, it's such a great deal, and it is, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying Game Pass in general has sort of left Microsoft in this spot where they have to like spread their games out. So, that's really something that people I haven't really heard anybody talk about, but Game Pass has a negative effect there where you're going to need games for the entire year, so you can't drop them all at one time at the launch of a new console, right? That's going to be, I think, a big problem, and hopefully Microsoft can work that out. They've got to figure out something because, again, you're going to have people, get people excited. You're going to have to keep people wanting to buy your console. Hit that like button. There we go. Let's see. Go do Beast Bro says, crap. If they actually released Scalebound, Xbox would have had one more amazing game. Too bad Microsoft is fickle like their audience with giving up the IP a chance. I've heard some different things, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, Microsoft was already $75 million into Scalebound. And the fact that, it's a single-player game, no microtransactions, how are they going to make that money back? So, unfortunately, it didn't work out for them. But, hold on. John Idala says, crap, I love your podcast. You always tell the truth and have it been the best podcast. You always been honest. Listen, I might say something that turns out not to be true, but again, that's if I hear something bad or whatever, then I feel like that's, both on me and them or whatever. But I do think that I try to be as honest as I can with these type of things. So I know some people enjoy that. You know, I give my honest take on gaming and stuff like that. So I definitely appreciate that feedback from you guys because it's super important or whatever. But again, like I said, I think going into next generation, it's a very exciting time, but it's really going to take the content being there for both of these companies to get people excited and talking and kind of involved in the next generation. Like, I just feel like as it stands right now, people are going to be a very hard sell on on stuff that we currently have. You know, how are we going to get people away from what we have? Squeamish says, did you guys do M&C this morning? If so, I will have to listen later. We did one for about 20 minutes on Mooch's channel, but he had a power outage, and so after a certain amount of time, it just really continued to, we only did it for 20 minutes. We had to go. I don't even know if his power is back yet. Brian says, do you think Microsoft will continue to do day and date release for the next gen? They're stuck doing that. They have no choice but to do that. So yeah, they're going to have to keep doing that. And again, that really kind of come back and bite them in the butt for the simple fact that, they could have had people double dipping all along, and instead what they got was, people not buying their games at all. And they can try to hype up, we had 3 million, we had 3 million people or whatever on Gears. The fact of the matter is, Gears used to sell 3 million in the first week, and now it's like they can only get 3 million people playing across PC and Xbox when they're giving the game away. So a little bit unfortunate, but still like to see the games be a little bit more successful long term. I get it that people sort of look at these things as one thing or the other, but hopefully hopefully we can see Microsoft bring it together and do a good job with the games and the exclusives and stuff like that. So that's what I want to see anyway. Microsoft, they're not dead in the water by any means. They just have to really listen to the fans and kind of pay attention to what the fans want. You have to be there for the fans first and foremost. Doing anything else just will come across as disingenuous. So they really have to pay attention and do a good job for the fans and stuff like that. And I feel like if they do that, things will work out fine for them. If they fail to do that, then you know what? It kind of is what it is. Let's see. I'm going to answer some more questions. Platinum Games took Microsoft monies and used it on other products. This is a long-standing rumor as well. JD Gamer says the model that Game Pass is using is that they have one AAA first party per quarter, supported by 1 to 2 first quarter exclusives per year, as well as spread out through the year. Exactly. Well, they have to have it spread out then. You have to have games at a launch, in my opinion. You have to have some really good launch titles, right? I bought an Xbox One based on the launch titles because Sony didn't have anything. So, Fun Creator says, crap, my prediction for PS5 is $449, with Sony taking a $50 US launch loss at launch. Sony could do that if they want people to go all in. I feel like it's something that, they definitely could do. Just realistically, are they going to do it? Like, is there a need to? Because I feel like people are going to play... I think it should be back right now, at least. Anyway, that's the hope. So hopefully it's back. It said, hey, disconnecting. Yeah, okay, so we are back. Hey, everybody, hit the like button. I would appreciate it. Reconnection successful. Great. That's nice to see. Anyway, yeah, I'm back. Sorry about that, guys. Everybody hit the like button, share it out, all that kind of good stuff. Yeah, Microsoft, like I said, they have an idea, but if they can really successfully implement those ideas, I think is going to be, I think that it's going to be something that they're going to be very successful with. So it's going to take more than Game Pass and services and stuff like that. So hopefully everybody kind of sees and kind of agrees and understands what I'm trying to say. I'm not knocking Microsoft. I think Microsoft can definitely do a good job. It really just comes down to the belief. They have to get people excited again. They haven't really done a good job of getting people excited, so I'm hoping that they can actually get some people excited and happy again for Xbox, because we haven't seen that in forever. And so being able to be excited about the brand for the first time in a long time, should have a good E3 for a change. Don't promise the biggest and best E3 of all time. Deliver the biggest and best. Talk less, show more. That's what I always believe in. You know what I mean? You have to talk. Microsoft has a tendency of talking out their ass. I just want them to really kind of just show stuff, right? Don't go, we're going to have the best, biggest E3 ever with the best Xbox E3 ever. In my opinion, you have to go out there and show that. Go out there and show it instead of saying it. And I feel like that's something that they've really kind of failed at for the most part. So hopefully they can continue to they can do something, change how they do something. I don't know, but they need to do something fast, and they need to get people excited. And I feel like until they do that, people are gonna kind of be disappointed or whatever. So let's see. John Doe says Crap plays no games anyway. That's not true. I don't play much Xbox anymore, but I mean, what can I do? I'm going to play Call of Duty, though. I plan on playing that and that new Star Wars game. I'm looking forward to it. Enrico Kitching, Abe, thanks for being a member. I appreciate it as well. Everybody hit the like button, man. This has been a pretty fun stream. I'm going to answer a couple more questions, and then I got to get out of here. So ask some questions, and I will go. Satanist says, I love Microsoft E3 2018, but 19 was a dud. I agree 100%. Greg says, yeah, Phil needs to cut that out. Enough with the propaganda. Xbox has Battletoads. We're going to have our biggest E3 ever this year. Phil Spencer, every single year. Yes, the best Xbox E3 in the history of histories, people. Exactly. That's what I'm saying, man. Just show it instead of talking about it. Ned Flanders says, Microsoft doesn't want to serve gamers. They want to serve Fortnite and Minecraft communities. You're not wrong. John Idala says, Crap, have you been playing Borderlands 3, and what do you think? I just bought the Ultimate Edition. No, I didn't buy it. Again, I'm budgeted lately, so I haven't been buying a bunch of stuff. So, best Xbox E3 ever. Well, here's 35 first on Xbox AA Indies. Wait till next E3. Here's 41st on Xbox AA Indies. Yay. Again, that's a big problem. You know what I mean? Like, not getting people excited, and then when they did a Battletoads, they did Battletoads that looks like crap. It just doesn't look fun. It looks slow. So yeah, they have to get that together a little bit. JD Gamer says, I would love if Microsoft came out and said, we're not talking anymore, we're going to show you better than we can tell you. That would be nice, but all we get is Phil Spencer saying, I'm more excited about the things I didn't show you. Right? Like, that's the problem, in my opinion anyway. So, with that being said, it's been a heck of a show. You still didn't answer my question about the studios. I didn't see your questions, man. I'm not really sure. Hopefully. You could get Battletoads or a game called River City Girls. I don't really know. I don't know. So we'll see. Anyway, I appreciate everybody stopping by today. It's been a fun stream. I wanted to make up a little bit for the lack of M&C. Apologies for OBS cutting out a little bit earlier, but I'm going to get going anyway. Please hit the like button, share it out. Thank you guys so much for all the support. Have a great day. Rack 'em up. Enjoy your Sundays. Spend it with your family, watching football, whatever. Peace out.